To say that I'm not happy about the story is an understatement. Hey everyone, this is PrinceBrightstar, and while we have a story update to look at today, honestly everything after is going to hinge on that. I don't know what's going to happen today, but you need to understand something before we get going today. I've made my beef with Manon known in the past, but after last time, it's at a whole new level. There were very few cutscenes where, if Manon wasn't on screen, the other characters were wondering where she was. Yeah, we had the reveal of Photon Zol, but that doesn't resolve the main issues with the story. Why am I here? Why am I the player important to the story if she's the one that drives things forward? Will anyone react to the existence of Dark Falls Solace, or the fact that there's an island floating off the shore of Retem? Where is my agency to walk up to Crawford and ask him about the things on his screen? Like that star chart that he's got there that I've been pointing at for some time now. Look, we got a good hint of where things are going in this story part. It's where my head is after we learned that Manon had the overboost ability and how much she had been overworking herself. I believe she's showing signs of photon poisoning. All of this culminates in the fact that over the past month or so, I haven't been calling her Manon. I've been calling her Poochie. If you don't know who Poochie is, they were the result of an executive note to the writers of the fictional show Itchy and Scratchy in the long-running series The Simpsons. Those executives wanted to add another character, a dog, to the successful cat and mouse setup. And even more so, once the character was introduced, the one that played Poochie's voice had some other ideas for the character. Poochie needs to be louder, angrier, and have access to a time machine. She may not have a time machine, but we can certainly place Overboost in that slot. Whenever Poochie's not on screen, all the other characters should be asking, "Where's Poochie?" As I said before, in almost every cutscene last time in the story, if Manon wasn't on screen, the NPCs would refer to her. Sega, what you fail to realize, unlike those on The Simpsons, is how much you have angered your fans by making her the focus of the story. We thought you had learned your lesson when she was knocked off her high horse, ending up in third place in the character election behind Zafeto and Kanui. That was us, the players, sending a message to you, but you seemed content to just ignore it. Like how Milhouse got upset and asked when Itchy and Scratchy were getting to the fireworks factory, I'm asking when is anything going to happen in this story? You set the table, brought Zafeto out in Chapter 5, had a Starless attack at the start of Chapter 6, and now it's like you've gone back to setting the table again. Having us do yet another run through Aelio and Retem isn't helping, and I'm sure you're sending us to Kavaris again as well. You don't announce the start of a new version of a game and then go back to what didn't work in the past. You hit the ground running. And yet here we are 6 months later and you're just spinning your wheels. What a crappy era version 2 is turning out to be. I can't even tell if Chapter 6 is supposed to end today or if it's going to continue into 2024. That's something deliberately hidden from the roadmap. And don't you dare try pulling an end of the Millennium Alice Ryra on us. They were bedridden and died because of the Black Wave attack from a Dark Falls. Manon dying from Overboost would be exactly the same as Poochie saying their planet needs them and dying on the way back to their home planet. And of course, this is besides all the other problems this game has. Sega, today's your last shot with me. If the story doesn't shape up today, I'm curtailing my coverage of this game. One last thing, for anyone asking what I would do to fix the story, I say this. I have a plan that would set things up in such a way that it could be an industry first. It would require significant investment, more than likely doubling current expenditures, staff, and significant effort in balancing. However, because of that industry first point, and because of what the plan is, I could only reveal what that plan is to Sega directly. It reaches the level of industry secrets. Reach out to me if you're interested, and we'll see if my idea can mesh with what story you have. That said, let's begin with a scene featuring Aina. I'll decide if I'm covering anything else today after we complete the story, because honestly, a lot of that just feels like we're on the same treadmill we've been on for a long time. And it was Crawford that basically told us that, you know, that he doesn't think Ina's acting the way she usually does, so... Anyway. Betsujin, that is on the table today at this point, basically. Is something wrong, Ina?
Huh? Oh, hey. Sorry, I was just thinking about some stuff.
Were you thinking about training?
Yeah. I've never actually done any formal ARCS training myself. And my dad never taught me anything about fighting and stuff either. After I became a defender, I just kinda tagged along with you and Manon. And I just sorta developed my own style in the process. So, I'm having a hard time conveying my experience to the new recruits. I've always just gone by feel and, like, how do you communicate that? I try really hard, but they just look at me like I'm an alien or something. I don't know what I'd do if Dozer wasn't there to help out. I really need to work on my communication skills. What am I supposed to do?
Don't look at me, I'm a silent protagonist. Okay, actually, no, that's not fair. I do have options here. Why don't you ask Dozer for help?
I have. He's always like, let's try it your way first. Maybe I should just try asking around? Oh, I've got it! I mean, who else, right? Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, this will be good. I gotta run, okay? Bye. Thanks for always listening.
Okay, so... Hey, it's been a while. It's Kuka. Mary tells me you've been keeping pretty busy. Actually, it sounds like you've been on her mind lately. It'd be great if you could stop by the lodge the next time you're in Kavaris. I think Mary would like that. Okay, what are we doing up there? And, Betsujin, I would ask you not to reveal anything else about the story here. Let's see here. But yeah, that feels like they're setting something up for Ina. The question is, who did they go to see? If anything, I would say probably Glenn would be a good option, given all the fighting that he did and leading that he had to do in Sia.
Nice to see you! I wish I had known. I would have prepared something.
Didn't you ask for
How
me?
are things going in Aleo? Ilma's there now. I hope he's not getting in your way.
He works on his research day and night.
Yep, that's our Ilma. As long as it's keeping him out of trouble. That's fine with me. But if he starts being a headache, you let me know. Oh, by the way, Ina stopped by. Not too long ago.
What for?
She wanted to ask me about any battle training I had done. She told me she's a training instructor in Aleo now. She's so kind. I think it's a good fit for her. Anyway, I told her about how our grandpa taught us to fight. The 5 of us are all so different, you know? That was hard for Grandpa to deal with. He used to always talk about the importance of recognizing our strengths and weaknesses. If one approach didn't work, he'd move on and try something else. And in turn, patiently came up with unique training plans for each one of us. Come to think of it, if Grandpa had been heavy-handed about it, the 5 of us probably would have all turned out the same way. When I shared this with Ina, she said, "Oh my gosh, I've only been thinking about myself." And then she took off running. I had so much more to share with her too. So, how are you doing? I'd love to hear about what you've been up to lately.
Alright, and now we got Nadara. Pardon the interruption. We're having some trouble with Starless in the lower level of Maquad. I hate to impose, but your help would be a great boon to us. Thank you. Alright, so Wolfric, yeah, you missed the opening few minutes to this show here. Yeah, there was a rant. And Besijin, no, Garwa did not train his daughter. He didn't want her participating with the other training groups. So, she was usually, when there was training going on, she was just on the sidelines, basically. So, yeah, she doesn't have that kind of formal training. That was an interesting idea for Ina to come up here, though. And I guess it kind of makes sense. Given that context, Garwa was supposedly up here on a regular basis, taking out dread enemies. And I suppose Lysis would have potentially been a partner in that at some point, but I mean, who really knows at this point? Alright, let's head over to... Well, actually, first, let me set this, because for whatever reason, this did not get focused. Alright, so we need to head down to the Maquad lower level. Let's see. Needs to be at least rank 5 in order for Starless to appear, so... Alright, let's grab some quick food here. I am apparently out of my crisp Ratem meat, so I'm gonna have to do something else here. You know, it's not really that big of a deal here, so I'll just grab Alio instead. Don't really care that much about the bonuses here, especially considering we're just doing story content. Alright. I gotta get out of this photo room at this point. Not quite what I'm looking for here. We're looking specifically for Starless. Oh, you're right! Hey, I came in here on rank 5. What is going on with the servers? Let's do room transfer then. Alright, I see one down here. At least they're off to a decent start today, putting Ina in focus, but we'll see how long that lasts. Okay, this has a shot at giving us some Starless here.
This is an emergency transmission.
Trial start.
At this point, at least in terms of story, I kind of want to at least let it play out. I don't want to completely be unfair and not let the part play out first here, but I mean, we'll see. It's obvious I'm coming into this with a very negative attitude. I wish this wasn't the case. There we go. Your assistance was invaluable. You have my thanks. I am even further in your debt. Do not hesitate to ask if you require my assistance. I'm happy to assist at any time. Farewell for now. Do you have a moment? I had a little chat with Dozer about Ina. It sounds like he has something on his mind. You should pay him a visit when you have a chance. Alright, let's head back over to Alio then. Up above, huh? Oh no, it's not going to be completely stopping coverage. I'll be looking at story. Let me at least clarify that.
You're here. Don't tell me. You want to know about Ina.
I've been a little anxious for her.
You worry too much if you ask me. But I do understand how you feel. Don't worry. She's doing just fine. Obviously, she's still a bit rough around the edges, but that's to be expected. At first, she was pretty clueless about teaching. Now, she's really trying to tailor her instruction to each trainee's strengths. She's made real progress. Though, I get the feeling someone gave her some pointers.
Yeah, Messagin, I will agree, although at the same time, you know, at this point now, we are the Guardians, so if somebody needs help, you know, it's our job to go help them. This is what I mean by the story not really having a good focus here. It's all just on Manon, or at least, for the moment at least, we're looking at Ina, so, you know, that's a step, but going back to, nobody said anything about Solace, nobody said anything about that floating island. The story is spinning its wheels on things that are not the new threat. Anyway, it wasn't me.
How about that? Mary told her about Lysis's teaching methods, huh? Ina must have a real knack for this to shift gears so quickly. Makes sense. I mean, she learned to fight just by watching you and Manon. Thought I might need to step in and help her, but maybe that won't be necessary. I can sit back and watch her work. You keep an eye on her too, okay?
Okay.
Are you there? It's Manon. She's unconscious. And she's not waking up. You need to come to Central Tower right now.
All right, here we go then. The preview from the headline gave us the start of that, so but yeah, let's just see how unconscious they really are.
Manon's body could not keep up with her constant use of overboost. Overboost puts an incredible amount of strain on the body.
How do you know about overboost?
It's never meant to be used outside of emergencies.
An emergency power.
Unbelievable.
I'm getting the feeling here that Zephetto actually told all the Lucilians about overboost now. Where's the option to say she got what she deserved? Actually, no. Realistically, since we probably don't have access to overboost, we don't really know what it actually does to the body. I guess we should have stopped her.
But would she have even listened? Manon's just... She was trying so hard, and her research was going so well. She'd finally won everyone over, too.
I am also at fault here. I warned her several times, but I never convinced her to stop.
Oh, Manon. Hey, Feria. Manon will be okay, right?
Her situation is rather dire.
What?
What do you mean by dire?
Overboost consumes a large amount of photons each time it is used. Once all of the body's photons are depleted, there can be permanent effects.
making for a difficult recovery.
Precisely.
Is there a cure?
I do not know.
Are we going to inject her with photons, Zol?
No. Manon.
I think I might have an idea.
We're all ears.
Manon's symptoms reminded me of something. This is one of my grandpa's documents that I found in Lost Central. There's a section on photon deficiency in here. Apparently, it was a common affliction among ARC's defenders during the war. And this has info on how to recover from it.
So, there's hope for Manon?
Lysis really was amazing.
The thing is... unfortunately, it might be a little too early to celebrate.
Huh?
The treatment requires a special kind of photon crystal. The document calls it luminescine. But there's nothing on where to find it, or even what it looks like.
Luminescine? I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it could be a monofluid.
Same here. Is that information reliable?
There's a chemical equation here that uses the crystal, so I think it must be. But we still don't know what to look for.
We have a difficult search ahead.
There's gotta be a clue somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. We can't just stand here. We need to act. Someone might know something. Who knows? We could even just stumble across it. It probably looks like Resticine, right?
Then we try everything we can think of.
Agreed.
Varia, what
I'll
do you
keep
know about
looking for
luminescine?
other documents.
Please, allow me to assist you with that.
And I'll mobilize the research team too.
Let's do this. Help is on the way, Manon.
Also, can we send that picture to up to the moon Gyra, just to see if we happen to get a response out of a potentially still alive Zepheto? Anyway, where can we find luminescine? Maybe we can try asking around in Central City. You know those people who are always talking near the fountain by the lodgings? Let's split up and try asking them. I'm kind of curious what these people would even know about luminescine. Or is this more a case of we're just trying to see if anybody's seen a really strange Resticine at some point?
Hi.
Is there something you want to ask me? Luminescine? I think I've heard of it. What? How do you know about Lysis's research? Oh, that's right. Quilla. She was really excited about some new thing they just found. Yeah, no kidding. And she loves digging into new discoveries. You've helped her out with her research before, right? Anyway, you should definitely try talking to her.
Later.
Oh wait, they're pretty far away. For Tem City. Ah, the person in front of the, stone here. Ah, look who it is. Don't tell me, you're here to ask me about Luminosine, right? I've been curious about it ever since I found these messages a while back. We were so absorbed in our search that we didn't notice the sun go down. Perhaps because the location was always dimly lit. It was not safe there, so we decided to turn back before we ran into trouble. That's when we saw something that looked like a rest sign shining brightly from beneath a rock. We thought it might be the elusive Luminosine from the rumors. Okay, who started these rumors? But when we went back the next day, we were unable to find it again. Perhaps our eyes had deceived us. These were written quite a long time ago, but no one paid much attention to them. But that beneath a rock part suggests it must have been somewhere rocky. And it was not safe there bit, maybe referring to the Stia volcanic zone. Why don't you go check?
Alrighty then.
So, the fact that it didn't show up when they went back tells me this might only be available during certain parts of the day. But it is night right now, so let's go see. All the way up there, huh? Doesn't seem like anything's there. Always dimly lit. Maybe because it's hard for sunlight to shine through? What about Resolve Forest? There really aren't many rocks there, though. Actually, if I was to take a guess, maybe where the ancient enemies are. Just because there's always kind of a shine coming in from the reflection of the light from outside. But that's just my guess. Let's make our way over to Resolve Forest. Yeah, or maybe have no markers at all, and just leave it to the players to, you know, communicate like they encouraged back during the days of base PSO2. No luck? I'm kind of running out of ideas. Why don't you come back here for a bit? Alright, back to Tem City then. trying to think if there's anything, if there's anywhere else that would really qualify. The cave in South Aleo. I mean, you do have the different minerals in there causing some reflections. Where else is there not much light? I already said here, in the area where the ancient enemies are. It could be in this stretch right here, where there's land covering more land underneath it. And then I suppose if we're considering places covered with trees, there's always the trees on Kanai Isle. Anyway. Good to see you back. Sorry to make you run around all over the place. Well, let's think about this. It's always dimly lit and not safe, right? The only other places we haven't tried yet are Ritem and Kvaris. Dimly lit. Oh, maybe it's in a cave? Did I? Okay. But there are tons of caves. I know, why not search the Kvaris mountain roads? I have a good feeling about this. Go check it out.
Alrighty then.
I need to say something.
Manon, you're supposed to be unconscious! What? Like, what?
Varia told me that you're all trying to help me. You're all working so hard. For someone like me, you don't need to.
Manon? Oh. She seems to have lost consciousness again. I urged her not to, but she insisted on speaking to you.
You need to strap her down to that bed or something.
It's clear that you mean a great deal to her. Find the luminous sign. It's the only chance she has.
Alright, well, let's see where we're going. We're headed up to here. Oh, I see what they're talking about. So, kind of where the ground is, because that's kind of a sloping cliff there. Yeah, there's a bit where it's covering, although you'd still get plenty of sunlight here. Oh no, they're talking about way underneath. Okay, I get it now. I think luminous sign probably looks a lot like rest a sign. Keep your eyes peeled. Yep, there it is. Wait, isn't that it? Amazing, it really exists. Why didn't we find it until now? That's not the point. Hurry up and take it to them. We probably didn't find it until now, because only until very recently have ARCs actually been in the area. But anyway. So the question now becomes, how many of these things exist, and will this just regenerate after a day or so?
We found some luminescine. There's just one small problem.
It looks like the amount we have probably isn't enough.
And I just asked like that.
Not enough?
It did restore some of her depleted endogenous photons, but it is insufficient to cure her.
You're kidding me. How much more do we need?
We don't know the exact amount. All we know is that we need as much as we can find.
Let's get to work.
Right. Even if we have to go to the ends of Halpha.
Just knowing what it looks like now is a boon. Notify all ARC's defenders and request their assistance. They're all worried about her too. I'm sure they'll be happy to help.
I'll mobilize all available Retem defenders as well.
I'll deploy Stias. And I'll have the research team hurry and find us a location.
Thank you all. Now, let's get out and keep looking.
So, sorry to say this, but is there anyone else that, you know, potentially might need this thing as well? Or is it just Manon, and nobody else's life is being threatened right now in recovery? Anyway, do you have a moment? As previously discussed, luminescine is found in shadowy places, like caves, for example. I've identified such locations for you. I've also updated your active sonar. Your sonar will now pick up luminescine. Remember, luminescine can only be found at night. Mags are equipped with a function known as active sonar. Okay. And just my luck, it just became day. It's not like I can really do a photo room to get around it. Let's see where we're headed. We're headed to actually that cave in South Aleo that was mentioned before. We're headed to close to the entrance to Trinitas. This one is apparently inside Drazen plant. And then this one is nearby where we got the first one. And I guess the question is, where do we want to wait for the next 10 minutes or so here, while we wait for the sun to go back down again? I guess we can take just a quick break here, and I can work on getting my equipment leveled up here, since that's a thing that you can do now. Got a Flugel Guard, by the way. We'll go ahead and raise the cap to 80.
Keep shooting for the stars!
And now, let me just pump this thing up with Gold Prim Sword. Doesn't look like it's using that much more than the first 10 levels did.
A success! A success! A success!
But yeah, this is
A success!
an interesting way of doing things, that's for certain. At least in terms of Manon getting sick here. I mean, she basically pushed herself to the edge here. Like...
A great success!
What? I get that she was pushing to get acceptance, but at the same time... Like, what's the point?
Success.
If you're just hurting yourself. I mean, that's like you're on the path to a very dark place at that point. And nobody's really even forcing her to do that. I mean, you know, set boundaries on your hours, man, and you don't have to work all day or night.
A success!
I didn't want to say it, Wings. I mean, it's like...
A success!
It's sort of like she's repenting for her sins, but nobody's asked her to do it.
A great success! A success! A success!
Yeah, it's like she's so full of herself, she doesn't even want to listen to what anybody else says.
A success!
I really don't know what to think of this whole thing.
A success! A success!
At the very least, even if we don't get enough here right now, it'll at least keep her out of the story for a bit, which is basically what I've been asking for.
A success!
But the thing is, we already know that she's going to be back up and running by the end of this little bit here. And the reason is because Sega basically showed off that she and Aina are going to be running around in Aelio and Ritem in their new outfits. So it's like they spoiled the end to this. Which is really, really disappointing that they would actually do that. Alright, Flugogard is leveled up. Let me limit break my armor.
Keep shooting for the stars! Keep shooting for the stars!
Yeah, for anybody asking, the reason I keep this this Ajax is because of this Fix-A-Guard 5.
Keep shooting for the stars!
Alright, item enhancement. Let's get the armor pieces up.
A success!
Yeah, they could simply make it that she doesn't use overboost anymore.
A success!
But then again, you know, if these the mini-signs had always been here, that then goes to the question of, did the arcs of the first generation, for example, used to... Well, no, they basically did cover that. They did cover that was normal. So yeah, how did knowledge of them get lost?
A great success!
And is there any other sort of effect that they're supposed to have aside from this? And what happens if somebody without deficiency tries to eat one of them?
A success!
Like, does that then set them up in such a way that they need to be put into a cast body?
A success!
I'm trying to think of what else
A success!
we can make of this whole thing here. But I mean, with us at a dead stop right now, this is all I can really do. Just kind of start asking the obvious questions here. Yeah, we're the third generation. But you would think Manon would be a third generation as well. If not augmented, even stronger than the third generation.
A success!
Because remember, they were supposed to observe us. So, yeah, somebody said it earlier, when do we get overboost? And we start using it like Dark Blast or something.
A success!
Yeah, to your point there, I mean, early on, when we only had access to Aleo, there was the question of if Rest Assign and Reverse Assign were even going to be available in Retem because of the desert. But no, they ended up being all over the place. But still having things like monomates and monofluids would certainly have gone a long way in that, if they decide to go down that path instead.
A great success!
Locked out of Lucille, and honestly, at this point, I'm gonna tell you what my plan would be if to get back up there, because there's a way to get back up there. It's just you need to be inventive and crazy enough to try it. You know, well, actually, let me finish leveling this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Server? There we go.
A success! A success! Come again!
Okay, so my plan. We know that Central Tower can rotate. And you see those 2 points at the top? Kind of looks like uprights on a goalpost, or another way to think of it is a slingshot. Anybody got a long piece of rubber we can just stretch out to the mountains over there and then just launch an arcs up into the sky to get back up there? That's my idea to get up there.
Welcome.
I don't think we'd go splat on that, because keep in mind, we can use photons to slow ourselves down. Yeah, that works as well. Just shoot a... Hey, grab the meteor pod from the island, and, yeah, just shoot us into the sky. That would work, yeah.
A great success. A success.
I mean, I don't hear any of the NPCs coming up with any other ideas on how to get in there. I mean, the other option is to just use photon arcs over and over and over until you gain enough height to get up there. But that's already been tried. At least by players, not by in-game characters.
A success. A success.
Yeah, but the idea is, rather than going through whatever entrance that is that has yet to be addressed in the story, since we know the one in Kavaris is broken, this is basically the idea of trying to find a back door to what entrance we do have currently. Yeah, we don't even know where the entrance that we're using for Lucille exploration is. That's how weird the story is. Like, nothing is explained. I mean, okay, granted, there are some moments where they do explain things, like what happened with Photonzol last time. That at least did start to explain some little bit of the world, but it's so far and few between. It's like
a success.
Yeah, I don't know.
A success.
Also, the number of augment slots did not go up with level 80, so I guess maybe they're holding that off until level 90.
A great success.
Well, yeah, not everything was explained in PSO2, but at least you were given enough information to at least draw on some things that had been spoken of before, or at least were implied. Like, we don't necessarily need to know how the telepool system works, we just know it works to get us to the surface of planets and such.
A success. A great success. A success. A success!
That's true. It could end up being in the material books, but you know, we're still missing even things from that. Like, we still don't have anything for Edola at this point, and that was promised to us over over a year ago at this point.
A success!
Alright, let me do a quick time check. Alright, we're getting close to when night is going to be coming, so let me finish this up here.
A success!
Yeah, that is true. You are able to hand in the extra gold prim armor and swords you have for new ones now. Or rather, for an augment that basically lets you squish things into it. To make them worth even more experience.
A success! A great success! A success! A success!
Alright, I want to get to the first place before the sun goes down, so let me teleport over to south. Actually, what's going to be the furthest? Let's go here to Trinitas. And let me get my active sonar set up. I'm going to have to assume it's under valuable items? Because I don't see it on the list here. Alright, we still probably have another minute or two before the sun actually goes down here. I'm curious how much I had left over here. Let's see. Okay, I would probably need some more to get my rod set up here, but should be good to go for the most part. As for the gold prim armors, I'm probably more than fine here. Since everybody's going to be probably trying to level up their gear, I'm probably going to be looking at selling some stuff on the market, actually. Given how much of an excess I've got. Usually nothing shows up in the photo rooms, since they don't spawn anything. Oh, and I took a brief look at the tech arts customization. It's using some new discs, and at least for Hunter, it's basically using this this attack here, which I haven't found a use for at all, but it may actually have a use now. Specifically, there's one that allows you to get extra damage from it, but in doing that, you would need to effectively charge it for an extra amount of time. So, if you know your bosses well enough to know how long it's going to take for them to set up their next swing, then I guess you could go for it. At least with the one that with the version I'm thinking of, there's 10 levels to them, but beyond that, I don't really see much of a use for that attack. But that's just me. Alright, probably another minute to 30 seconds here. And then we're just gonna hit all the locations really, really fast. Unless you're able to get 10 right here. I guess we'll see. What a way to gate your players, Sega. Oh yeah, I remember with the things that drop from the sky, you need to find the yellow ones, and used to be that finding items off of enemies was not a guaranteed drop. They didn't add a pity system until like halfway through the episode, if I remember correctly. Or maybe it wasn't even until episode 2. So the question becomes, why did Sega go backwards on that? Alright, here we go. Here's one. Looks like you found some luminescine. I did too. Let's find some more. There's one. That's 3. And it looks like that's it. Let's head over to... Whoop. Let's head over here. Yeah, I mean, I called it when in terms of what mechanic they were using, that it wasn't going to appear until certain times of the day. So the one up there did not regenerate, so I guess we're going to the other cave then. Here's one. Ah, right here. Okay. We found some luminescine, too. We did as well. We will do our utmost to preserve it. We're doing well on our end, too. I'll try going a little deeper. Alright, let's head for South Aleo next. Here's one. Rappy's over here. Here's the second one. Alright, is there one more, or do I have to go to Stia? Looks like I gotta go to Stia. Okay, that's pointing up above. So, let's go Felusa Ridge instead. Yeah, I think there was a red box hidden over here at one point. Alright, that's 10.
We found tons of luminescine. Thank you, everyone. I hope this will be enough. Let's go see Manon.
So they just keep appearing, huh? Actually, no, my sonar may be locking on into something else here. Let's just head over to Central City. And I wonder what Arch just got over there, but...
We've done all we can. Now it's up to Luminesine's effectiveness, and Manon's own resilience.
Is everyone there?
Ilma.
So... Manon's photon levels are rising.
We did it! Come on. Manon. Manon.
I know.
Manon.
You're both here.
You should be lying down.
No, I'm fine.
Trying to remember if we've heard this song before.
I'm so sorry. I've caused you all so much trouble again.
Not at all. It was worth it.
It sounds like something we heard for Hitsugi once.
What's wrong? Are you still hurting?
Or maybe it was Mother?
When I
I'm not sure.
collapsed, you should have just left me to die.
What? What are you even saying, Manon?
This world would be better off without me. I've caused so much pain and so much suffering.
Were you deliberately trying to destroy yourself?
I was. It was the only way I could think of. To make up for everything I've done. I thought about it a lot. And I decided that once I made things right, I could just fade away. Or so I had hoped.
Why? How could you be so incredibly stupid? Do you think that we'd want that? That we hate you? You're the only reason we could do any of this. You mean so much to all of us, to me. I've told you 1,000,000 times. Why don't you get it already?
But you're the only one who feels that way. I know what everyone else really thinks of me. They hate me.
And this is where they're putting words in my mouth here. I'm trying to think of what I want to say to this situation, though. Yeah, I guess that's not true is the best one I can really go with. And I don't think I'm taking blame on this one because she basically did it on her own. Where it would have gotten me involved would have been if this happened and I deliberately said, I'm not helping you. And keep in mind what I said up at the top. If she actually had gone through with it, then I literally would be, I don't know, I'd be putting some text on the screen right now saying, note, Manon died on the way back to her planet. Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's actually a very bad way to handle this sort of situation, especially versus other for other people that might be going through that sort of thing. I completely agree with you. Yeah, she's basically having a pity party right now.
That's right. We all care about you. Everyone worked together to find the Menasign. So many different defenders. So many of your friends.
I mean, she wasn't even trying that hard if she
No.
wanted to do
What?
this. I mean, she could have just thrown herself into the lava in Stia.
Just look at this.
What is this?
This, right here, is proof of your character. Every single one of these people care about you.
But I'm a member of Resurgent Arcs. I was part of the experiment to restore Arcs to its former strength.
Manon, do you even think Resurgent Arcs is real? And I mean that wholeheartedly. If you think about it for a moment, where are the other members of Resurgent Arcs? Shouldn't we have heard from someone else? You know, when Zeffetto got knocked off? Shouldn't somebody have sped to the planet and taken over his operation? Like, did he not have any backup plan if he had died somewhere along the way of the 500 years he lived? There's just too much that doesn't make sense here. And this is not helping the situation. So you're implying then that there's no Resurgent Arcs left anywhere? Again, I have my doubts about that, especially considering the star chart that we've seen, where there are many other Lucille-like platforms out there. That doesn't jive with what the game has shown us. Not what the game has said, but what the game has shown in the assets. Alright, this isn't you.
Then what am I exactly?
That's not the way I would have put it. I would have said, your arcs. Regardless of if there's a surname attached to it.
So, does that mean I have a place here? And you won't think of me as a traitor if I don't use my power?
You don't need to use it as long as we're here. No, I wouldn't say that. I would say there's a time and a place to use it. Not every 15 seconds. By the way, how do we use it?
by everyone. I was terrified.
Hey, Manon. I know that there are a few jerks out there who might not think so highly of you.
Ha!
But I think that will change if you just give it time. And we're always here to help, okay?
To be clear, frankly, I think what we did against Aegis might have been overboost. Or at least some form of it. Because that's the only way we could have... that would really explain how we managed to pull off the fake ceiling attack that we did without the help of everyone else that was associated with the one that took care of the primordial darkness. Let's try to reassure everyone.
I want to thank all of you. After all the things I've done, I don't know how you could forgive me, but if you could find it in your hearts, I want to stay here. Because I love Alpha. And I love all of you. So, I'm begging you. Please, let me stay by your side.
Now that didn't sound right there.
I'm sorry to bother you. Do you have some time to talk? Could you meet me at the watchtower? I'll be there.
To the watchtower, then.
thank you for coming.
How goes the recovery?
I'm feeling much better. That defender just now used to visit me at the medical bay. Well, at the time, I was so inside of my own shell that I wasn't really able to listen to her. But now, I feel like we have a real bond.
Does she know about when you came to?
My face gets hot whenever I think about it. She was teasing me about that little emotional outburst I had, too.
I can't blame her.
Don't you start in, too. I should remind you whose fault that whole thing was. You put a camera in my face all of a sudden. But you have a point. I never would have done something like that myself. I guess being here really has changed me. Hey, I'd like to ask you for a favor.
Is something wrong?
Well, I spent my whole life in that bizarre resurgent arcs environment. So I might still make some mistakes from time to time. Could you correct me when I do? You and Ina. Well, just you would be best. What do you think?
Of course.
Thank you.
Alright, it looks like that's the end of the story here. Let me head out into the field here. Want a change of music. Yeah, that's a wrap. Yeah, that was handled extremely poorly. The whole thing with Ina just calling her stupid. There was somebody that I knew. I haven't had contact with them in some time, and I don't know where they are today, but they were in a very bad place. And I like to think that because of my efforts, I was at least able to grant them about an extra 10 years on their life, working with them and pulling them back. You never say that to somebody that just went through a suicide attempt. This is now a very... Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I can really say at this point. This is... Yeah, I think that's all I can say here. Thank you for joining me today. This is Prince Brightstar signing off. Stand by for a channel update.